seemed like a lot of stuff was going on with the kids in this episode. I was like, wow. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. This is season 9, episode 5. Like I said, a lot of stuff going on with the kids. There was a whole situation that took place with Sierra's daughter. Then there was a whole situation that took place with Kirk's son. I was like, oh, it was making me anxious. I just was like, oh, okay, y'all, it's too much going on. But anyway, we start off, Kirk and Rasheeda, Rasheeda, her little boy, woo, he's getting big. Her little boy's getting big. I said, whoa, these kids grow up so fast on TV. You look 1 minute, they're in arms, and the next thing you know, they walk around talking and carrying on. But he was bringing her shoes to go with her outfit. She's getting dressed. He took her on this little surprise date night, and it kind of was like a throwback to their very first date. They rode on a motorcycle. I said, girl, you ride on a motorcycle with them damn good shoes, honey, with your heels and whatnot. But they went, and they had waffles out there for them. I thought that was pretty funny. It was cute. And she was talking about how she was planning this here ski trip. And he was like, okay, cool. But it's all the girls. Ain't none of the guys going. It's just the girls is actually going. So it's cool. Next we go over, we see Shooter and Sierra. It's Shooter's birthday. And it's them with their son and their daughter. Now listen. She was saying then that the daughter had been a little disrespectful and something was going on with her. So that's one of the key things when you got a little teenager or one that's, I think she's 14. Yeah, I think she's 14. That's one of your telltale signs when you have a child that's not disrespectful normally and they start to get smelling her stuff, you need to start paying attention. And she was saying, what was going on, and he said, what's going on with you? She told him then, just drama at school, this, that, thing, and the other, and was saying how she didn't want to go to school. So I'm like, child, y'all need to go look into that, because it stuck out to me right away, like, what do you mean you don't want to go to school? When things get that bad, if the kid don't want to go to school, somebody need to go pay attention to what's going on. But I said, okay. Child, the little boy is hilarious. He's younger. That little boy, his face tell it all. Sierra was talking all that old, she's just goofy. She's talking old yang yang. That little boy was looking like, bitch, what are you talking about? Good and well, my dad don't be in your face. Good and well, he don't want you. Good and well, y'all don't be kissing and hugging. Not when we looking. And his little face was telling the whole story. I said, girl, you a little delusional, and the baby is telling it all. I child the mouth of babes. Anyway, moving on. Jock goes up to the shop. And now, we ain't seen Sharonda. Honey, Sharonda seemed like she's still mad from last year. But they still are in business. He kind of just stays away from there and let her run it. So things is cool. He was meeting Alexis Sky up there, and that's when we found out that Alexis Sky is actually a product of sex trafficking, that she actually had an issue with sex trafficking when she was a teenager. I was like, oh, wow. So he wants to help her get the word out, and he was talking about putting together this panel and all of this kind of carrying on. So I was like, okay, cool, and she agreed to show up for the panel. Later on in the program, the panel actually did take place. They talked about sex trafficking. They put a lot of information out, things that people might not know. Akbar was actually there, and they had said, what do you all know about sex trafficking? And Akbar came right up, she ignorant. She's like, that's pimping. And they're like, no, that's really not what it is. That's not what it looks like. So they were educating on what it actually does look like. And then the one woman was saying, she said, yeah, people don't talk about the STDs and the abortions. And she said, it's not all abductions and kidnapping. She said, I was groomed into it by a mega pastor's daughter. So that actually, for me, I don't know. That's the part that you see. Whenever they talk about sex trafficking on the news or they talk about it in movies, that's the part you see girls being snatched into a van and that kind of thing. But I think this was very, very smart, Mona. Thank you so much. This was a good piece for this because it doesn't. There are people who are groomed into sex trafficking as well. It's not all the barbaric part of it. Alexis was groomed in and then withheld, with a threat of murder, after that. And she's saying that she was a runaway. She's like 15, 16. And guy got her and everything. And then she was threatened with death and said that it was a guy, I guess it was a John, that actually helped her get away. Said he saw the sadness and tears in her eyes and whatnot, and he helped her escape. Said that he took her, she said she don't even know what the guy's name is, but he dropped her off at the bus station, and she was able to get away. Yeah, it's... Because I didn't know where they were going at first with this, and I was like, where are we going, Mona? But yeah, this was interesting. And this is what people need to know. It's not all folks being snatched into vans. It's really deeper than that. Anyway, so there was this conversation that went on with Bambi, Rasheeda, Mimi, and Sierra. They were shopping for the little ski trip and whatnot. And Sierra's a little nervous about being around Carly. And she's saying, Sierra's all over the place. She really is. She's all over the place this season. She was so sad when her and Carly were having their issue, and she wanted Carly to forgive her, and they go on and into the abyss like nothing ever happened. But now she's like, I don't know, because she said so. So I said, you all over the place, sis. You need to get somewhere and sit down. You get somewhere and sit down. And we already know Carly's a goddamn mess, so... Spice is actually going to be coming to the trip as well. Y'all know I love me some Spice, so it's cool. And then Bambi let us know Scrappy still ain't speaking to Mama D. He's still angry with Mama D about that dinner. I'm like, ooh, that's strange for them to be at odds that long, So I'm sure they'll get it together. So let's move on. So then we got another little meetup where it was Carly, Mimi, and Rasheeda. And they were saying how Carly was saying she reached out to Sierra because they were seeing this whole newscast where shortly after the whole conversation on Shooter's birthday, there was this whole drama down at the school. A woman and her daughter who actually lives in the same complex as Sierra that jumped on her baby. The woman come up to the school, is in the bathroom. Sierra's daughter calls her on the phone, and she says, put the mama on the phone, and she says, she was talking to her. She says she had put the speaker on, and she talked to the lady and said, what's going on? How can we solve it? What is this, that? She said, then she just hears the phone drop and start hearing all this scuffling around and kids screaming. Honey, they done jumped her daughter. Listen. Rasheeda said exactly what I was thinking. Rasheeda said, baby, I'd have lost my whole shit. I would have. I ain't getting ready to tell y'all no lie. That bitch could never come home. You understand? She could never come up. You live in the car. Whatever. Child. I know it ain't right. I'm sorry, y'all. That bitch could never come home. You understand? Never. Ever. But she got PFA, PFA papers and all of this stuff out and all of that. And she said she know her daughter's not innocent either. I don't give a goddamn what your daughter did. If your daughter ain't killed nobody, her old ass ain't had no business. And she ain't had, first of all, First of all, you know, I worked at a school. Adults aren't even allowed in the bathroom. So how she was up to no good. Anyway, adults are not allowed in the bathroom. Only students go in the bathroom. So that bitch was up to no good. Had her ass in that bathroom. She did what she intended to do. You a bad bitch. Why ain't they jump on her at home? Because she went and got her where she knew she could get her at the school. Baby, me and the school will be having some issues. And that bitch could never come home ever again. Not there to that address. Anyway. So that was a whole mess. But Carly had reached out to her, told her, you know, the drama that they have going, you know, whatever about that. But she would never want that to happen, blah, 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 say blah. Shortly after that, Kirk and Rasheeda are talking. And we found Kirk's son that got caught up, got pulled over, had some weed and a gun. And they done locked him up and then boosted the charges up like he was on a run selling all the weed in Atlanta and had, like, you know, guns like he was getting ready to go set it off. So they're dealing with that. So I was like, oh my gosh. So that's what Rasheeda was like, I'm not going to go to the ski trip. But she did actually come the next day to see the girls off and let them know what had happened. They were like, oh my gosh. She put Spice in charge of the girls. I said, oh, Miss Spice is in charge of the girls. Now, I don't know about Spice being in charge of the girls. Y'all know I likes me some Spice. But Spice is a goddamn fighter. Spice hits. Spice don't do well in arguments. Spice is the one that always gets through the security to be able to land a punch. So I don't know why you would put Spice in or and don't put Spice in charge. But that's what she did. Sure enough, they get on the bus. It's a 5-hour ride. No sooner than she was able to, Carly got the shit started up. Soon as she got a chance. She get the shit started up about how she don't trust Sierra and all this. I'm like, Carly, not the time. Just shut up. Yeah, it just wasn't the time for it. I was like, I wasn't here for it. Then Bambi's all nauseous. They giving her peanuts. And she's like, oh, that did kind of help. It's the salt, Bambi. It's the salt that was settling your stomach. And they're like, girl, is she pregnant? I said, this fool talking about, well, I'm still breastfeeding. You can't get pregnant while you're breastfeeding. Child, what do breastfeeding got to do with your tutu, honey? Yes, you most certainly can get pregnant while you're breastfeeding. Oh, Bambi! You been walking around with that box how long and don't know how it worked, girl? I laughed. I said, Lord have mercy. So we'll see what happens with that. And then they get a text. The text was from Shekinah. That text, that daggone Sierra, Shekinah is on her way too. She's coming. I said, oh, it's going to be a mess. Because now you go have Shekinah in her mouth. You know, Shekinah say anything she want to say, child. And I said, her and Carly going to be at it. Just watch. And then Spice was saying, you know, oh, I ain't really feeling Shekinah. And they're like, what's going on with you and Shekinah? She's like, Shekinah's fake. She said, you know, it's when I'm around, it's one thing. Then when I ain't around, she's saying something else. And I ain't really feeling her. I was like, oh, Lord. Only good thing, like I said, Spice is a fighter. Shekinah's not a fighter. You know, she don't pull no punches about the fact that she don't fight and all of that. So whatever's going on with Shekinah and Spice, I have full faith that by the time we're done filming this ski trip, Shekinah and Spice will squash whatever it is that they have going on. If there's some type of misunderstanding, and that's probably what it is a misunderstanding. Because I don't think Shekinah want no trouble with Spice, child. So I'm hopeful that they're going to fix that. Anyway, so here was this other part. I said, oh, Lord Jesus. Miss Cheyenne and KK. Well, since the last little party, honey, KK and Cheyenne done fell on out. Cheyenne being smart, honey. I told y'all Cheyenne got bit by the reality show bug. She owes KK for a cell phone bill and didn't pay it. I knew it was gonna be some shit when KK got. See, KK and Mama D and their props, I can't. KK roll in with her blood pressure cuff in her head. She gonna say, I brought this with me because I don't know how things gonna go, and I got to say it, KK. She gonna take her blood pressure before she even start talking Cheyenne. I said, oh, I don't know who's funnier, KK or Mama D. Them and them props. She gonna tell her, she gonna say, yeah, see, you know, what really kicked things into gear is when you said, fuck you, bitch. And Cheyenne's like, I never said that. I did not say that. She is making that up. I've seen KK make things up with other people, but I never thought she would do it to me. I said, Cheyenne, now KK's a piece of work. But I don't know, because you've been real sassy, sis. So I don't know. But honey, KK said, listen, Scrap is sitting there. He's going to say, well, look, so who's going to be the bigger person? And we get this figured out, because this is crazy. KK going to say, no, I'm going to be the lower bitch this time, honey. Did you tell him about you and Shooter? Honey, that goddamn Cheyenne was sitting there like, up. I said, KK. Oh, KK! Child, listen, I found out. I said, she a whole mess, that damn KK. She know how to turn the scene. She just like Mama D. That's why everybody love him too, child. Anyway, I'll see y'all next week, child. Later. Oh, KK.